pipe here is going to be part of our new irrigation system, and I've been having a little bit of trouble getting it to fill up with water. It's almost 300 meters up to the tank up there, I suppose in terms of vertical height, 20 meters, and I'm just about to see whether I've actually succeeded. Let's see what we can do to get some pipe in place without falling down the hill. First step, get these undone. So here we are. I've got a tap. I've got a 90, but I don't think I actually need that because the pipe's got enough of a bend in it. And I'll go somewhere down there, put this on so that I can actually turn the water off from the top. Push that home. Then it's a question of just tightening this up. Okay, so that's the start of it. I'm going to let this all fill up, and then I shall come back probably in the cool of the morning to start rolling out all that pipe. So I've got about 300 meters to roll out. Well, I'm not going to be filming a lot of getting this down the hill, but you can see it's all a little bit of a hassle, dragging it through the bushes and uncoiling it as I go. Mid-destination is there, but 100-yard mark is literally, or 100-meter mark is literally just about here, so I'm going to have to join the pipes there anyway. That's the first 100 meters. And here's the second one. Now let's just try and work some of the twist out of this a little bit and lay it alongside the smaller pipe that's coming down, hidden out of the way. Okay, so that is the twist more or less worked out of it just by spinning the end of it. I'd imagine that there's still some twist up here, and should be able to do that from the other end. Not too bad. Annoyingly, however, I have a kink, and that is annoying because it's going to restrict the flow. So I'm going to actually have to cut that out. One is now tightened up as well, so it was very useful bringing up those Stilsons because I wouldn't be able to do it by hand. It's pretty tight. So I'm going to allow this to finish filling up, and hopefully tomorrow that'll all be done. And I'm just going to carry on with the tubes, but since your battery is running out, I'm just going to crack on without you and show you the results. Not the final place for the pipe, however, I have primed it. I've filled it up with water to a degree, perhaps 10-15 meters is full of water, And what I'm hoping is that's going to be enough to suck it over the lip of the reservoir, and then it's got to come down quite a long way. It's nearly 300 meters of pipe there, and I think the head's about 40 meters. So if it works, it's going to be quite a gusher. I'm going to put you down over here, and then I'm going to turn that little blue tap and see what happens. It could be a blast. Didn't work. Right, up to the tank it is. Filling up. That is switched on. So I did notice on the way up in a couple of places the pipe is a little bit heavier, so that would indicate that there is some water in it. So it's partially siphoning, but I need to get into the tank and see whether I can get some water down this tube, which at least will be refreshing. It was extremely refreshing, so refreshing that I can't feel my feet, but I did manage to get a fair amount of water down the pipe. Should have bought a watering can, schoolboy error, but I'm going to give it one last try tonight, otherwise it's going to go on until tomorrow. Right, this bit of pipe, which is in a lower bit, is nice and heavy and full. So that is a good thing, because if I can get the siphon going down the bottom enough to pull that water over this little bit here, then it should yoink it down from the tank. That's the theory anyway. And once the pipe is full, we shouldn't need to do this again. Famous last words. There's no water here. Really got to do is to get the water over the wall, and once that happens it should continue siphoning on its own. Let's have a feel here. I don't think there's any water here. No. So it has got a few ups and downs to do, which isn't ideal, but as I say, if it doesn't work, I will come back up with the watering can and fill it up. Final time for today. I have reattached this pipe is full. I've reattached it to this because the longer it stays in the pipe, the more suction it's going to give. Now let's turn it on and see what happens. Oh wow, good pressure. That's sucking it through. So we're getting a few extra meters of pull on it. Predictably, it has stopped. Okay, that is going to be another day. See you in the morning. Here we are up again with the watering can this time. It's another glorious day. I've calculated that for 100 meters of pipe I need to fill it up with 126 litres of water, which is quite a lot. Worked it out with pi r squared h, and yeah, I'm just going to get on with filling that. I'm not going to bother filming too much of that because, you know, you can probably guess what pouring a watering can into a pipe looks like. So I'll see you on the other side. I've got at least 150 meters of pipe full of water now. Some of it's up the top and some of it's down the bottom. And in the middle, there's a bit of air. So what I'm going to do is going to open that tap and hopefully that's going to suck the air down and through with the head of water above it, bearing in mind that there should be enough water at this head to give it some decent pressure. Anyway, that might be the end of this video. Otherwise, I'm going to be getting extremely fit running up and down this hill. I suppose it's no bad thing. Here is the moment we've all been waiting for. At least I have. Let's see if actually it works. Oh my goodness me. That is some pressure. Come on, keep going, keep going. Wow. Wonderful. Okay, so that water is now running cold, which indicates that it is coming all the way from the tank, and that really appears to be job done. I've got to make a manifold so I can distribute the water and put in a fire suppression system and also extra irrigation. So I'm really pleased about that, and I'm going to end it there. Thanks very much indeed for coming on the journey. I'll see you next time.